I'll come to you with this issue. It was the Senator Mwaura's fate. Former Samburu now, Sami Leshore was gazetted to replace Isaac Mwaura.
Right.
This happened and there was a court order. Are you concerned that this is a country where court orders don't matter? And I'll come to Governor Mutua as well. As a party leader, do you just make arbitrary decisions even when the court says stop?
No. Well, Trevor, to begin with, I may be limited in my comments on the matter. One, because this is a matter that's still alive in court, because the orders that Senator Mwaura had obtained still render that matter as a matter that's relevant in court. Number two, the execution of the process is not Wamatangi. That is a matter that directly lies under the purview of the IBC and the Speaker of the Senate and the party leadership, for that matter, right at the committee that runs the party. But I would only comment on it from my position as a senator. That number one, yes, I heard all those allegations, and I heard the position that Senator Mwaura alluded to in the House. Indeed, then the Speaker rose and said exactly what you said, and you've seen him saying it there on TV, that he was not aware and he had not been served with orders as of the time when he gazetted that process. And then subsequently yesterday, the IBC also said the same, that by the time they had released their gazette notice and given instructions for it, they also were not aware or served with an order. I don't think that that's the end of the process for Mwaura as a senator, because he's still able to go and argue his case, because he's filed a matter. And the IBC is able to come and put their case forward. They're the respondents in that particular matter. If the party is required also to give its position, they will be able to do that. And I believe finally justice will be served. It is important in a country like ours to ensure that we obey court orders all the time. And that's the only way you can be able to run a democracy and run a country where you expect people to be respectful and respondent to the rule of law. That goes without saying. It is for everyone, and it's not only when you have a court order that either seeks to benefit you yourself, even if it is one that seeks to stop you from doing something you're doing yourself. That way, I believe that we should rise above the water and ensure that we have a country and lead by example. That when we have one arm of government having said what they're supposed to say or do constitutionally, that we should be able to respect it. But Trevor, having said that, it is also important that we be wary also that when we go to seek court orders, there's a process that you also need to ensure that, one, you have followed. Get your court orders properly, in time, serve them correctly. That way they can be enforceable and obeyable. So to answer you in the long and short, I believe, yes, we should be able to obey court orders. I don't think it is the end of the road for Senator Mwaura. He can go to court and he will be heard, justice will be served. If finally it ends up that he doesn't get his seat back, it's not the end of life. He'll be able to get busy, serve the country in other positions, and he's been a leader in Parliament for a long time. So I believe he's got a lot of capacity and capabilities that he can serve the country in other ways.
Governor Mutua, you are a party leader.
Yes.
Does the party position supersede the court, and at what point does the court orders now cushion errant members of the party?
Even before I come to that, let me just correct something that my brother, Senator Chirangai, said about that. If I just go back, that Ruto was not really interested. Let us not lie to Kenyans. Kenyans are not stupid. You see, if you look at the voting pattern, what Matangi said, look at the people who voted no. They're sycophants of DP Ruto. It's like you have a family where you say, Baba is not interested, the father of the family is not interested, but the mother, the children, the relatives, all of them are on one side. And that other person pretends to be at neutral. Hakuna kitu kama hiyo. Those people are sent to carry out a job And it should be a wake-up call, as I said earlier on, to the reality on the ground. So Kenyans are not stupid to say, oh, Ruto is not interested. Well, look at the people who are voting no. And don't those people also have constituencies which needed to? You know, so as you say, yes, you can't wish Ruto away, but in this one, he lost. And it is clearly he lost, as Senator Matangi said, and as good, you know, MP Atandi said, Mheshimiwa, it's clearly they had taken a position that did not work out. And in terms of impeachment, I think my brother, Senator Chirangai, I think it's a bit arrogant to say we are not worried. You should always be worried. Because when you say we are not worried, it sends a whiff of arrogance like mutadu. Na ukiambia Wakenya mutadu, Wakenya watakuonyesha vile watakudu. And then you're in deep trouble. So it's always good to say, well, this is not good to come. It will not be a good thing because we're elected by the people. But you can't say we are not worried. Yeah. And lastly is to say that BBA will pass because on the ground, I'm telling you, this idea of bringing money to the counties is very popular. And people are tired of things coming from the national government. Now about, as a party leader, when it comes to the issues of party discipline, there's 4 things I like to say. First of all, the Constitution is very clear that there are processes of removal of sitting members of parliament. And it's unfortunate that these ones have not really been carried out. That errant members of parliament who are not serving their people on the ground should be removed by the Wananchi. And Kenyans have really not done it according to the Constitution has given us and the law has given us the opportunity to do that. And I think in the future, people need to hold their members of parliament responsible so that if you're not performing after 2 years, 3 years, unaenda nyumbani. But here you serve your whole term and you're not performing. You don't even speak in parliament. You don't even work on development. You're out there playing politics, getting handouts. People should be able to send you home. And I think that a day is coming as Kenyans are becoming cleverer and cleverer in terms of political games that they'll be able to do this. Yeah. Number 2, fidelity to a party manifesto is very important. And if you feel you have a problem with a party, and you have a problem with Jubilee, for example, then resign. You know, hii mambo ya afisi mguu moja pande hii, mguu ngine pande hii tuachane nayo. You know, and it is very important the message be sent out clearly that parties should be about ideology. If you don't believe in something, I remember there's a foreign affairs minister, state secretary of foreign affairs of England who disagreed with John Major, and he resigned. He didn't think we should go to Iraq. As a principle of ideology, he resigned. Other people leave the party, cabinet members. I resign on principle because that ideology I do not agree with. The ones who agree with that ideology stick there. So if you have a disagreement, you don't burn the house from within. You get out. And that is where we are getting. So in terms of what is happening in Jubilee, as a party leader, I think it's a very good thing. It is going to bring discipline into politics. You are either in this team or you're in that team. You play this game, but then politics, parties should also have opportunities for people to grow and express dissenting views. Yeah. So people should be able to say, well, I don't agree with this within the party structure. But anytime you leave that party support and you go to an opposition and you start supporting another party, then you're not in that party. Yeah. You know, it's like, you know, I think all of us here have been in matrimonial or in matrimonial lives. You know, you have your husband or you have your wife who is now with you, but they're also saying, I'm also married to this other man. You know, and my fidelity is with you, but also, you know, my sense is also with you with this other person who I'm getting married to, but uko kila mtu anajua niko na huyu mzee, lakini wewe ni mzee wangu. You know what I mean? Yeah. It confuses the state. So a sense of support. Now, lastly, the issue of the court orders. It's a process, Senator Matangi said. You know, court orders are not served by SMS or by breaking news. Yeah. Court orders are served properly. So I'm not party to this, so I'm not sure, but I don't think Senator Lusaka would have made a decision after being served with a court order, because that is actually, what do you call it, contempt of court. So it's also a process, but as we said, the good senator, or is it former senator, still has the legal provisions, can still go to court and still continue serving the people of Kenya. But in terms of what is happening right now, I would like to see more people purged. I'd like to see more legislators removed. To achana na hii mambo ya you want to eat from both sides and you're not serving your people.
All right. I have to take a quick break. When I come back, I'll come back to you on that same issue, because I see here on the Standard front page, more DP allies are facing the Jubilee Acts. We'll find out from Senator from Nandi as well what he thinks on this. I see some of your feedback coming through. Keep them coming at Trevor Mbija at Citizen TV Kenya. Senator Cherargei, are you concerned? Because there seems to be a purge in this area. Maybe they're coming for you next.
They already did that. They already came for me, and I was removed. Of course, some of us are no longer bitter. We take it in stride and grace. And, you know, when you reduce political parties into a kiosk kind of running, then these are the side effects of running government. And it is unfortunate the remarks that Governor Mutua has made, because I've always believed, having lived in both First World and Third World, he should appreciate the role of free thinking, free association, free thought, and also democracy. But the way Senator Mwaura was hounded off office is very unfortunate. And I want to tell President Uhuru Kenyatta, through Senator Kimani Wamatangi, because he's his senator and also one of his senior advisors in parliament, that if you find a man fighting somebody who is disabled, somebody who is marginalized, women, you know, if we have reduced Jubilee, which we sold as the future and hope, to fighting women, people with disability, then this is embarrassing. The Jubilee we elected in 2017 after the likes of Angana Tandi frustrating us, boycotting the general election in the second, after the petition was. This is not Jubilee we voted for in 2017.
I'll give you a chance to respond.
Is it right? Is it right for...
I'll give you a chance to respond.
It's a fact
Just
that
let
you
him finish, I'll
boycotted the
give you a
general
chance.
election. It is not a contest. So the point is, the Jubilee that we sold to Kenyans, more than 14 parties that we built a national party, that we wanted an ideology, cannot be reduced to a party that is being used to frustrate women, people living with disability. Senator Mwaura was representing a special interest group called, and when you see a whole party leader and a government that, a party that runs government, going for people who are disabled or women, then I'm so disappointed with Jubilee, because it has sunk too low. And therefore, in fact, another thing is that I was also disappointed by our Senate Speaker, Kenneth Lusaka. It looks like Lusaka no longer follows the standing orders. He follows orders from above. And that is the unfortunate scenario that we are seeing in Senate. Because there was a court order that was subsiding up to stay up to 20th May. There was a court order later in the evening. It was gazetted. It was backdated. The gazette notice that was being issued was gazetted. And when you look to this, and you know, my worry is that Senator Speaker Kenneth Lusaka risks contempt of court, because all these court orders, they will not go for Jubilee. They will not go for the party leader. They will always go for him for disobeying a court order. And one interesting thing with this government, and I don't know whether it is the advice of handshake partners, is that President Uhuru Kenyatta will not be remembered for the express highway, which is very expensive, by the way, that is being built from Westlands all the way to JKI. He will be remembered for disobeying the rule of law. Because when you look under Article 10 and Article 259, the rule of law is one of the national values and principles of good governance. You remember Miguna, he had court orders. This government is so chronic that they disobey court orders. So if you continue disobeying court orders, what options will other Kenyans have? Because President Uhuru Kenyatta will go into history as one of the East government that has disobeyed court orders. Court orders are being issued in vain, and that should not be the position. And we have always insisted that, and I want to ask my colleagues in government, even the handshake partners, that you will not be in government forever. We must have an independent, functioning, where you can run. You know, judiciary, I know I've been a victim of state operates a machinery. I am out because of the defense of judiciary, because when you are being fought by the state, your only line of defense. So I find this a threat to democracy, the removal of Senator Isaac Mwaura, and the courts have said as much. The gazettement of former Senator Leshore is illegal, it is unfair, and I think at this point it is. Number two, I don't find anything interesting or weird when they want to go for Moses Kuria, Senator Millicent Omanga, says Marire. These are just women. You know, in my culture, let me tell you from the bottom of my heart and where I grew up, and you are my neighbor, in our culture you don't fight with women. You don't find a man fighting with women. It is a taboo. It is better if these people want to face real men, let us come for people like Gerard Gay, people like MK. There is no problem if they fight men. People who are people you can face. But when you sang too low and start fighting women, then in the other hand you are saying we want to give women more leadership position, but in the other hand you are fighting them. So what are you saying in short? So we expect more. Purge has been done before. We saw our colleagues, Senator Susan Kiga and the rest were being removed. Mheshimiwa Aden Duale was being removed, as we were removed from party positions of chairmanship in the House leadership. So from where I sit, this is a threat to democracy, and I would want to discourage party leaders, especially my brother, Governor Mutua, His Excellency, not to borrow these dangerous traits of Jubilee to their party. It is dangerous. It's a dangerous disease that I discourage them from. Let them have a democracy. I am so passionate about this. And it is dangerous that, as I conclude, that we are performing the final funeral rites for a party called Jubilee. It's unfortunate.
All right. Trevor, you know, I'm obviously happy when Gerard Guy is the one lamenting about government excesses, you know. I feel happy as somebody who belongs to a party that has faced the wrath of government excesses. And I'm happy that what's happening to them is something that they participated in creating in the first term of Jubilee government. But let me come back to this debate on Isaac Mwaura. Trevor, you know, I've known Isaac Mwaura for many years. When I was in the university, he was also in the university, and we used to meet a couple of times when we were fighting for the issues of the youths as a university student leaders. And I must say that I'm happy for what is happening to him. Because, first of all, Trevor, you know, political parties membership is voluntary. Nobody has forced you to belong to Jubilee, to ODM. And when a political party honors you, you know, by giving you a responsibility out of the many members that political party has, you really, I think you really owe that political party some responsibility and accountability. And I think this is really the mark that has my brother Isaac Mwaura has failed to do. That is one. Two, I also want to say that the involvement of courts in disputes involving members of a political party is something which we need to change. Because what does a high court has to do with a political party trying to sort out its members? We in ODM are facing the same problem. We have some of our members, we gave responsibility which we thought they would use to advance the agenda of our political party. They took those positions and then they went opposite. You know, we have been in court with Commissioner, the MP for Malindi, Aisha. We gave her the position of a commissioner in PSC, which we thought she would use that position to advance our interests. She has not. She went to Tangatanga. We are looking for how to eject her from that position. The process is very long. And therefore, I think what has happened to Isaac Mwaura is a win for political party democracy. Political parties now have a precedent which we can show. And I think we need to fight as ODM also so that we can eject some of these people from these positions. If you disagree with the political party position, you just need to quit. And we have precedences, Raila Odinga disagreed with Fort Kenya and he left and he went and contested in a new party. So I think we need to restore order. I want to plead with courts that I think their involvement in these matters is suicidal. It is derailing politics, derailing democracy. We need political parties to discipline their members. And once a political party says, Honorable Atande, you are acting contrary to our political party principles, please quit. I should be able to quit. I don't need to run all over the place, go to court. Why are you going to court? To fight with who? This is your party. Your party has said, please go. So I think this is very good, and I think Isaac Mwaura, I think you need to say bye to Senate. 2022 is coming. Please prepare yourself so that you can contest look for a particular constituency and contest and come back.
But
don't fight.
There is a reek of political intolerance. Where's democracy?
No. You see,
allowed to disagree,
what democracy? The political parties membership is voluntary, as I've said, and every political party has certain principles which you subscribe to. And if you disagree with that principle, just leave. Don't bother them. Don't bother those people. You are becoming a nuisance in that political party or movement.
Let me hear from Mamatangi, then I'll come to you, Governor.
Maybe Trevor.
Yeah.
Let me bring this debate back to Parliament.
Problem.
Hold on. Yeah.
Because this whole thing actually started in Parliament itself. And if there was anyone to blame for what the process now looks like, then you'd blame Parliament.
Yeah.
Remember, there was a time when one of the members of Parliament, I can't remember which one exactly, but he used the term on the floor of the House, political prostitution.
Yeah.
I don't remember which member of Parliament. And that time they were lamenting when it was the in thing, the thing of the day, that people would get elected in Parliament. Then once you are in, you shift to this party, you have your goodies, do whatever, you shift to another one. So members of Parliament themselves, not courts, not political parties, MPs, sat down together and they decided to write a law that is now called the Political Parties Act. And it is the same members of Parliament who input what they think is going to bring political hygiene into the political arena. And so they first started by crafting a whole long list of do's and don'ts for political parties themselves. So they said, if you're a political party, these are the conditions you must satisfy. This is what you need to do. This is how you deal with your members. The number of offices you require to have within the country. The number of membership you need to have to qualify to be a political party. And this is how you actually deal with your members. And this is how you get your funding for you to run your operations, so that you stop going begging from well-wishers and other people who would influence your political ideology. That was for political parties. Then they came to the politicians themselves who enroll in those political parties. And the same members wrote the code of conduct. And they said, if you are a member of this party, when it sponsors you to Parliament, then you adhere to its ideology and you do this and that. And if you don't do this, this is what happens. If you then do this, this is what happens. Part of what happens is what you've seen, that if you disagree with the ideology, it was penned in the law by members. If you disagree, then the consequences to follow will be that the political party is empowered by this act then to remove you from Parliament, and thence you revert back to your people and seek a fresh mandate. So I would be saying in a nutshell that if you want to look for a culprit, then the culprit is members of Parliament themselves, and Parliament itself, in having passed that law, if then it gets back to bite. I believe the quest that inspired the writing of that law, Trevor, I believe that quest is noble. It's a good quest. In this sense, that earlier on, and we've said this before here, we've had political parties that stand for nothing, that are just very temporary vehicles of conveyance for a short period to deliver Wamatangi from where he is to the next place, and then once he's there, he abandons, then goes to another one and goes to another one. That is why you find currently in this country we have probably more than 200, I don't know how many registered political parties. And so all you just need to do is you go shopping and you buy this one. And once you're done with it, go shopping and buy it for another. And there's a price tag for it. As opposed to, because we want to have the political pillar of leadership in this country being a firm and strong pillar that is based on proper ideology that also relates to the wishes of the people of this country. And where we want to drive the people next. The question then is, should we have and support that law that will require political parties to grow and practice that ideology that is based on real issues that affect our people, that they stand for this ideology, that this is what happens in this as far as economics is concerned. This is what this party stands for. As far as our social dynamism is concerned, this is what they stand for. And then when you go to that particular party, it is a requirement, even for that party, within the population, that they live to those ideals. I believe that is a good thing to do for the country. And as long as ourselves as politicians, we discipline ourselves, so that when I come to your party, Trevor, I know that if you say that you're a social democrat, that this is how you want things to happen, and this is what you want to sell to Kenyans, then I will come to you because I believe that your midway
Yeah.
of social democracy is what to stand for. If I go to Mutua and he's a liberal, then I'll be saying that in his libertarian ideology, I believe this is what we should do. If you're a capitalist,
Yeah.
I will come to you believing that this is what you stand for, and
Yeah.
I believe in it and work for it and
All
fight
right.
for it.
All
So I think to that extent,
Yeah.
we have to say that politicians themselves must get disciplined and they must stand up to their own call.
Okay. Mutua, very briefly on this.
Just very quickly.
Yeah.
I totally agree with Honorable Samuel Onunga Atandi's perspective about political parties. You see, there's an aspect of political party democracy. But political parties can also be authoritarian by the nature of the fact that, as he said, you're free to choose. And when you're in there, you're supposed to support the views. And if they are too contra, you cannot be there. Let me give you a very simple example. You are hired, or you're a senior member of a church.
Yeah.
And that church believes in the philosophy and ideology of one Jesus Christ. So you go there, and you expound and you're teaching people Jesus Christ. Then you decide, well, let's give Lucifer a chance. You know, we should also listen to what Lucifer is saying, blame Shaitani sana. Wacha Shaitani pia tufunze mambo yake kanisani. Because we want democracy. We want opposing views. Will you last a day? Utaambiwa kwenda Shaitani, because this is Jesus Christ's zone.
Yeah.
If you want Shaitani, Satan, enda kwa kanisa yake. Hii ni kanisa ya Yesu Kristo. And I think political parties operate the same way.
Yeah.
It's ideological. You are here because of Jesus Christ. If you start bringing principles of let's also listen to Lucifer and others, then you're told go elsewhere.
Okay.
Now, in terms of political party hygiene, we've got the law. The law is set. But the law has been frustrated because it has not been carried out because of all these court cases and everything. It's good to protect people because political parties can also infringe on your enjoyment of a political party member or a leader because they're afraid of your accession. It happened to me. A wiper tried to remove me, not because I'd done anything wrong, but because they feared the rise and rise of Mutua. They thought that Mutua is rising, Kalonzo Musyoka is going down, so let's cut him, whatever. They tried.
Yeah.
But because I had not done anything wrong according to the law, they were not able to prove anything. But if I had done something wrong, gone and formed and joined another party, spewed ideology of another party, and criticized the party I was in, then I could have been removed with all the rights.
All right.
So I'm looking forward to the courts. The courts need to really set this country in an aspect or in a culture of discipline. I hope that the courts will be able to clear it kabisa for us so that we understand, so that now members of parliament, governors, members of the Senate know that you are elected to serve our people. Our children are at home without jobs. People are suffering. We need better infrastructure. We need food on the table. We need more money in the pocket. And you can't have it with all these wadosis riding back left, living their life, shida kidogo, you live your ideology, unarukaruka hapa chama hii, psychophancy, unapewa pesa hapa, kikiumana, unakimbia kotini, and at that time, wananchi on the ground is still suffering.
All right.
We need discipline and
let
order
me
in
add
our
something.
country.
Yeah,
Trevor,
very briefly on this.
Yeah,
because I
you know
want to
this
move to the next
argument
topic.
that Jubilee is fighting women, in Jubilee's pursuit to bring order in its party, is something which, this argument is really hogwash, because in this matter, there's nothing like a woman here, because these are leaders. These are leaders sitting in parliament, making decisions. When they vote against the ideology of a political party. So the question of we are fighting women here, this is really cheapening this debate. And I think, Chirargai, you need to abandon that thinking, because we saw it when we tried to discipline Aisha Juma. People said, you are fighting a woman. There's no woman here. These are leaders whose responsibility and the mandate they have and the role they have in those positions is counterproductive to the ideology of the political party.
Yeah.
So let us deal with these members. You see, recently there was this violence, there's a fight in a funeral in Kisii. I don't know that you saw where Honorable Arati and Honorable Soro were fighting. Yeah. Did you see Millicent Omanga on the scene? If you saw her on that day, you would not think she's a woman. So the question of saying that this is a woman, we should go slow.
Since he has mentioned me, I have a right of reply. Before we move on,
I think my message is very clear, that when you are handling these issues, let us not, trivialize them by introducing the question of gender. These are leaders. They are either loyal to their parties or not, and if the parties want to discipline them, the party should go ahead and do it irrespective of the gender.
All right.
Two things are just in a quick so that we can move on. One is that Senator Isaac Mwaura voted yes. Here is the majority whip for the BBI. What did he voted for the position that the government wanted? And in fact, Senator Kimani Wamatangi was sending us messages telling us the government position is that you must vote for BBI. Senator Mwaura voted for. Secondly, the issue of women. Then why should we have special seats for women and people living with disabilities? If we are saying they are leaders, then we should go all of us to the field and ensure that we fight for. So from where I sit, I think Honorable Samuel Atandi, you know, ODM is a cult, so I wouldn't want to go to his direction. You know, that is dangerous because we know what ODM is capable of. And in fact, the process, that is why they have not been able to remove Aisha Chumwa from PSC, is because the Constitution protects the PSC Commission. And finally, Article 10, when you read, I've been forced to read Article 10, it says one of the national values and principles of good governance is democracy and rule of law. And people are now, you know, when we went to law school, fortunately some of us went to law school, is that an ordinary legislation called Political Parties Act is a subsidiary legislation to the Constitution. So Article 10 of the Constitution is so crystal clear that if it supersedes, and that is why the courts have been entertaining, and I can see the veiled threats that Atandi is trying to direct to courts that they should not meddle in their affairs. It is the work of the courts to try and look at the law where you have been frustrated. And I want to advise my brother Atandi going into the future. The handshake will come to an end soon. Your only defense, the way you run for nullification of presidential petition in Supreme Court, if you don't have an independent, vibrant judiciary, my brother, ODM will frustrate you. The state operatives that you are celebrating that they are frustrating Senator Mwaura might come for you, and your only defense, the only person who is safe here is Senator Kimani Wamatangi. Your only defense will be judiciary. Because he's the senator of the president.
First, give you a chance because did you send messages to senators saying that the government position is to vote yes?
You remember in our last discussion here, Trevor, and this is a trend you must allow, that my brother here, Cheragei, will always refer to me in many ways, and I think you remember me saying that. And
now he says you sent us a message.
He expects that when I'm president, I will give him a position, and
especially of interior.
And I happily will. But I will have to define that position according to his capacity and capabilities. But Senator Cheragei, I never expressed to anyone that they will vote against their conscience at all. And that is my principle. And Senator Cheragei can look me in the eye. I told people that it is important that members of parliament in the Senate, their voice should be heard on this matter because it is a matter that has come to the House and is of national importance, and they have to be present to express what their position is as far as that bill is concerned. And no one in that House, including my good brother here who sits just right behind me in the Senate, did I even turn to tell you have to vote this way. I cannot do that. That's not the work of a whip. The work of a whip is to tell people, get here, we have to vote. If I have to express what a party position is because I have a political party, I will tell the people this is the party position for a certain issue. But on the matter of BBI, one, that is a matter whereby a member must express himself conscientiously according to what his faith is. That's why you heard me saying here, Trevor, that I believe the vote that you saw in Parliament is as a result of members of Parliament having looked at that bill, gone through it. And remember, we formed a joint committee to go through the entire bill. And people believed that there are good issues that can help this country inside that bill. And that hence it was good to vote for it, such that if the people okay it at the referendum, then people have the gains. But if we create this impression, which is not true, that the bill was being pushed forcibly for people to vote for it, that is not the case. And any member whom you invite to this show, let them tell you, did they vote for that bill because they thought it is good? I believe that 100% of the people who voted for that bill thought that it has something to offer for their people.
But maybe the final question is just the whip is that, was there a government or party position Because we saw in the National Assembly, even him himself, the reason some people voted for government, for the yes, because that is what the government wanted, is because him and other leaders in the Senate were saying that this is the government position, this is the party position. Is he confirming to Kenyans that there was no party position, there was no government position? Because he's the whip of the government. In as much as the majority...
Can I rescue him from that?
No, you
question?
don't need to rescue me. I can allow you to say what you want to say, but I can answer Cherage.
Okay.
I can very comfortably answer Cherage.
Yeah.
Because what I've said is precisely what it is. And you know what government, or rather what the party position is?
Yeah.
That a member elected on that ticket should avail himself to express his opinion on a matter that has been brought forward. And remember, Cherage, I want to underline this once more. We sat with you in that house. The party called Jubilee was not the sponsor of BBI.
Yeah.
The sponsor of BBI are the people of this country through a popular initiative.
Okay.
And what the party did was to take the responsibility
Yeah.
of what the people have expressed down and bring it to the fore, so that then,
Yeah.
in that process, members of parliament can carry out their constitutional responsibility
Okay.
of bringing that bill to where now it's going to be,
Okay.
for it to be voted for.
All right, Mutua.
You
Let
know,
me bring in Mutua, then I'll come to
let
you,
us
Sani.
not be
This guy is running away
slow
from reality.
Yeah.
in facing reality.
Yeah.
And the reality is this.
Yes.
I don't even see the problem of Chief Whip Senator Matangi
Yes.
telling members of Senate that this is the government position, because he is a senator, majority leader of Jubilee.
Yes.
Jubilee is a ruling party. So when you talk about a Jubilee administration,
Yeah.
the Jubilee government has done, Jubilee has said, Jubilee imefanya. So when he says this is the position of the Jubilee government, that is okay.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with that. So tusianze kujidanganya hapa ati no, unajua kuna party, kuna hapana. In Machakos,
Yeah.
I am the governor of Machakos. Machakos right now is a Maendeleo Chap-Chap government.
Okay.
Because it is a Maendeleo Chap-Chap government that is in power in Machakos. It is our ideology and principles. So when you go there and you say this is the government position, which is the Maendeleo Chap-Chap position, it is accurate. There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
So when you're voting against a Jubilee position in the House, you're voting against a government position, if that is what the party leader has chosen. It's just as simple as that. Tuache kuwa slow,
I
man.
think,
Okay.
It's just as simple
Trevor,
as
I
that.
think Senator Matangi is being economical with the truth. BBI,
It's a government.
there was a position taken by the president. The president is the party leader of the Jubilee party.
Yeah.
And the president said clearly, and the president met members of parliament. He met us, you know, in Naivasha. He met members of the central province,
Yeah.
I think Mount Kenya, somewhere.
Yes.
And
Sagana.
we have been pushing. I'm happy. I'm happy to say that on our side we have been pushing for the BBI conclusion, and you know, to be, and even our party gave a directive.
Yeah.
You know that this is what we have taken, and I think a political party must take a position on a constitutional reform process agenda that, like what we have been going through. There's no way a political party worth its salt should hold back itself and say that, you know, we have no position, that let members go and vote the way they want. That we have to, that has to happen. There are strategic, there are critical issues, you know, things like debt, public debt, things
Yeah.
like, you know,
COVID.
taxation, you know.
Yeah.
Those are things that political parties must sit down and agree on how to approach them. And I think also the constitution.
Yeah.
So I think let us not be ashamed of the fact that we are pushing for BBI.
Okay.
It's a political party.
Trevor, just
We really don't
just a quick one, a very quick one.
Yes.
Because I'm the government chief whip.
Yeah.
I'm the chief whip on the majority side.
Yes.
And so there is no one else in this forum who can express the position of
Of
government better than I can.
Yeah.
Because I have that mandate.
Yes.
Like I have said, and let this be on record, we as the party took the position that we are comfortable, we support, we think that the ideas in the BBI are good for the country. That's the position we took. And we said that those ideas are worthy being brought to the fore as required by the law of this country. That's our position. And thus that when those issues which we think are useful, they are constructive, they can help this country, should follow the process of law. But I want to be clear that even as the president spoke, there is nowhere where he directed that a member must vote under the gun in a certain way. we have supported the ideas that were brought on BBI by the people. And we said these are our thinking as government, as a party. These ideas are good. They will help the country. They will grow the country. They are useful. They're progressive.
Okay.
Can we take them through this process? And members of parliament carry out their responsibility in a democratic space which is free for them to express their position. So let it not be on record that there is anyone in that House of Parliament who was forced at all to vote in any way. Okay. They voted from their own will. And that is why you heard, Trevor, as I finish, that the expression that Chiragei put on record in the Hansard, and myself, he said, I vote yes, or I vote no. Not Uhuru said that I vote yes.
Okay.
It is the position is I vote yes, or I vote no.
Great. I have to cross over to Jamia, I believe, where Faisal Ahmed is standing by for the Eid prayers.